Hi, it's Dr. Sandy Queen with Queen Homeschool Supplies, and today I'm continuing with my series of videos on identifying and teaching to your child's learning style. So I've already talked in the first couple of videos in this series about the visual learner and the kinesthetic or hands-on learner, and today I want to talk about the third learning style that we're going to talk about, and these are all covered in my book called Learning My Way, which is available in the parent resources section at queenhomeschool.com. So you'll get a lot more information and practical tips in this particular book if you're interested in that. But the third learning style that we're going to talk about is the auditory learner. And you can probably guess by that title that the auditory learner learns best by hearing. So this is not the child that's going to necessarily learn by looking at books as you're sitting and reading to them, but rather by honing in on your voice doing the read alouds. And this is why my two auditory learning sons really excelled and could remember just about anything that I would read to them. They really, all my kids have enjoyed learning, listening to me reading to them, especially like at bedtime and different things like that throughout the days. But my auditory learners really liked that more so than any of the others. And one thing that they really enjoyed also was listening to audiobooks at bedtime after I had read to them, because you know you can only read for so long until your voice gives out. And but you know, this is a child also that may enjoy learning through videos, but it's not necessarily the watching of the video, but rather the listening of the speaking on the video or the sound on the video that they are picking up on. And so the auditory child learns best by that method through hearing, and the auditory adult as well. So these are the kids who will just really gravitate toward anything musical, anything with listening involved, but they are also, again, like the visual and kinesthetic learner that I already mentioned in previous videos, they are distracted by auditory things as well. So my two auditory sons, Evan and Luke, were sequential in birth order. And so as I was trying to homeschool both of them, they both graduated now, it was very interesting. I had originally, when we started homeschooling, set up a schoolroom in our house, which is now our library / guest room and has been for many years, because we never really had success using it as a schoolroom because of the different learning styles and the distractions that came with them, having me with 6 kids sitting around the same table, even though it was a big table in a big room. Just the auditory children were very distracted by any sound that I would make when I was trying to help a sibling with their work, you know. And even so, we have 2 very large living rooms. We have a living room and a family room right next to one another. They're adjoining in our house, so it's a very long, open expanse of room, and that's where we ended up doing school. But even with placing those 2 sons at complete opposite ends and opposite corners of those 2 big rooms, I would still, and whispering through school with the one of them in one corner trying to help him with a math problem, and I'd have the son 45 feet away saying, "Can you guys please keep it down over there? I can't concentrate," because that little bit of sound was so distracting to that auditory learner. Even though my visual and kinesthetic daughters are in the middle there doing school, like, what are you talking about? What noise? They weren't distracted by that at all. One thing that I found that was very helpful for my auditory learners for that purpose was to allow them to wear headphones with very soft classical music, or even just to play very soft classical music with no words to distract them in the background. Kind of acted like a buffer zone, kind of like some people might sleep with a fan on or a white noise machine to kind of act as a buffer from the other noise going on at the house if they're trying to go to sleep and other people are still awake. kind of that same principle, that it kind of equalizes the noise for the auditory learner so as not to distract them. So hopefully that's something helpful to you. I will point out just one practical tip. You're all familiar with our multiple award-winning Pictures in Cursive series for cursive writing, and I actually wrote this series first for my son Evan, who is an auditory learner, even though as a visual learner, it was important to me to use these beautiful paintings that we use as the focus of the lesson, and then all the lessons are done around whatever's in that painting. So my visual daughters just gravitated toward that because of the beauty in the painting. My kinesthetic daughter loved cursive and was always doodling on everything, and still does as an adult. But for the auditory children, what I did was to look at the picture with them, and this is a whole week's worth of lessons right here. Each day there's one sentence that they would look at, and it points them back to the picture to get them to pay attention to those details, and then they copy it. But what I did as an addition for my auditory sons was just to read to them, even though they could read by the time they got to these books. Read the lesson aloud to them, and just talk them through it verbally out loud. Really allowed them to hear it and take the information in that way as well. So that's just a real simple tip that you can use to use whatever your favorite curriculum is and kind of tweak it to the auditory child's learning style. I hope that helps. Tomorrow I have one more video to share with you regarding learning styles, so tune in and join me at 11:11 a.m. Eastern Time. And if you can't make it at that time, these videos are going to stay up on our Facebook page here for Queen Homeschool Supplies.